also to continue the assistance offered by the Egyptian agencies for partnership for Africa. As you know, the foreign minister was accompanied by a delegation from the private sector. Around 50 businessmen are accompanying the foreign minister, so they will have a forum with their counterparts in the private sector here in Kenya in order to talk about trade issues, investment, and economic cooperation between the two countries. The second set of issues being discussed during those meetings here in Nairobi were, of course, regional issues, including terrorism, how to further enhance the existing cooperation between the two countries to fight terrorism and terrorist organizations in Africa, in the Middle East. That situation in Somalia, in South Sudan. Also, the foreign minister discussed in detail in his meetings with the foreign minister of Kenya and the Speaker of the Parliament the issue of water, the Nile Basin initiatives, and the importance of having a win-win situation without harming the water interests of Egypt. He said that the Nile water is life or death for Egypt, since we don't have other water resources but only the Nile, which is not the case for the other African countries in the Nile Basin region. They have other resources. The foreign minister of Kenya, in this regard, she said that we fully understand the Egypt water concerns, and that Egypt is relying only on the water of the Nile, and that's why we have to fully understand this importance of water for the Egyptian people. Also, the Speaker of the Parliament said that the close relationship between brothers and sisters countries in Africa, key requisite that the African countries should not harm the interests of any African countries, and he referred to Egypt, and he said that we fully understand the water rights of Egypt, and Egypt is heavily rely on the water and the resources.
Right, sir. Mentioning water, we would like to know, was the Ethiopian High Dam mentioned in these discussions? Were there any updates concerning this issue?
You know, there is a political track and a technical track in the trilateral negotiations, which include Egypt, Ethiopia, and Sudan. And the foreign minister briefed his Kenyan counterpart with the state of play of the negotiations, and that we now to pick up a consultative company which is going to prepare a study on the possible impact of this Renaissance Dam project on the water flow to Egypt, and also the safety issue, as well as the environmental consequences of this huge project. And he said that we are open-minded in order to cooperate, but without causing any harm to Egypt's national interest and water interest.
Right, Ambassador Badr, official spokesman of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Many thanks for your input. Sir, and back to our main issue today, which is the visit of President Al-Fattah al-Sisi at the end of January to attend the African Summit. What are your expectations for this visit?
This is the second summit for President Sisi to attend. We remember the first one last June in Malabo,
right,
Equatorial Guinea. And think President Sisi will attend that meeting, and he will have some meetings with the African leaders on the sideline of this summit, especially the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, because the negotiations now about the Renaissance Dam needs some pushing from the leaders, Sisi and the Prime Ministers. For these negotiations, now about, this is the third month that the National Committee didn't meet together. They should meet at least once a month. But now for the third month without any meeting. And
now they are in the process of selecting a firm to conduct the research studies and give recommendations on the Renaissance Dam,
yes,
right?
They put November 20th, last November, as a deadline for the international firms to submit their proposals, technical and financial proposals. And then we choose one of them from these proposals. But they asked the three countries to extend that date to the end of November, and it extends also to the first week of December, mid-December, the end of December, the first week of January, and now to the mid-January. And we don't know exactly where or when.
What is the problem? Why are they postponing?
I think there is, they need some time to study the proposal. And also, I think Ethiopia also asked Egypt to extend the time of studying from 6 months to 2 years.
Right.
And we didn't accept that. But still, this is a dispute issue between Egypt and Ethiopia. So now we need the President Sisi and the Prime Minister of Ethiopia to push this negotiation forward, because otherwise we will reach to dead end as what happened in January 2014.
President Sisi said that all that Egypt wants is to turn the verbal assurances of Ethiopia that the Renaissance Dam will not harm Egypt's share of the Nile water into a binding protocol or agreement. How do you see this?
Yeah, the announcements are very good from both sides. But actually, on the ground, this is not applied on the ground.
That's why he's saying we need a binding agreement or a document, a written document.
Something verbal or written or
something
signed.
written,
signed,
right?
Or like a new agreement between Egypt and
Do you think
Ethiopia.
this is achievable?
It's very hard, because Ethiopia doesn't want to sign any agreement. That's one way of the policy of Ethiopia. But the Patriarch of Ethiopia, his visit now, he wants to convince the Egyptians that the Renaissance Dam has benefits for Egypt. And this is a message from Ethiopia to Egypt through the Ethiopian Patriarch. As we ask our Patriarch to go to Ethiopia to convince Ethiopia to say Renaissance Dam has harms for Egypt. So they do the same. And but we welcome the Ethiopian Patriarch as a good step in our negotiations or our relations between Egypt and Ethiopia.
Right. Dr. Abbas Sharaki, professor at the Institute of African Studies, many thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, with this we wrap up this edition of Africa Today. Many thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more coming up here on Nile TV International.